the Orchot Tzadikim and the gate of generosity. So he said how important it is to give tzedakah with a good face, right? Because you lose all the reward of the tzedakah if you give it with a bad face, right? With a sour face. And then he says, he quotes the sages who also say, Tov she'iten beseter. It's also important to give the money in a hidden way. As it says in Mishlei, Matan beseter, yichpe af. Those who give in secret suppresses wrath, the wrath of Hashem. What they used to do, the Gemara Sekhetubot says, they used to take the money in a piece, put it in a piece of cloth, tie it in a piece of cloth, and toss it behind them, so they shouldn't even see who takes it. Right? That way the person doesn't get embarrassed. He doesn't know who he's giving to, and behind the guy taking it, most of the time didn't even know who gave it to him. In Israel, there's people who are gabayim for tzedakah. Before the holidays, people give them donations. These gabayim, they have a list of names, addresses, and the gabayim, they slide money in an envelope under the door right before the holidays, so that people should have money for the holidays. So the guy who received the money, he doesn't know who it's from, and the guy who's giving it doesn't know who he's giving to. That way, nobody's embarrassed, right? So this is the best way to give tzedakah if you're going to give a donation. Obviously, there's higher levels of giving a loan and making a partnership, but when giving tzedakah, it's best when people don't know. He says, "Gadam oseh tzedakah yaseh im tzedakah chesed, kigon sheikneh b'ma'od davar tzich la'ani, lo yitzrech ani litroach." He says the better, higher level of tzedakah is also when you give the person what he needs right away. Let's say a guy needs a shirt, so instead of giving him money to go buy a shirt, you give him a shirt already, right? The guy says, "I need food." You give him money instead of giving him money to buy food. You give him food from your house already. You make it faster. There's a famous story with the Tanaim and the Gemara that his wife and him were in a situation where they used to give tzedakah a lot. So every day they would go and drop off tzedakah in certain people's houses. So one day the poor person, he wanted to know who's giving tzedakah all the time. And so it was Mar Ukva. So he goes and he waits in the door. Once the money goes through the mail slot, he's going to open the door and catch him. So he opens the door. Mar Ukva realized somebody's opened the door. He turned around so he shouldn't see him. And he started a wild goose chase. He starts chasing him. Who are you? Eventually, he got to his house, and the guy came to the house, and him and his wife went into the oven to hide. So then his feet started burning him, and his wife wasn't. So he asked her, "Well, why are your feet not burning? Why is mine?" They're having a conversation inside the oven, and she says to him, "Because you give tzedakah like that, just money. When they come to me, I give them food. So I give my tzedakah is higher than yours, so my feet are not burning." So you see that the zechut of the tzedakah, there's levels in the zechut of the tzedakah. He says, "V'ata shema chashivut nidivut bal tzedakah." Come and learn how important it is that generosity of those who give tzedakah. As it says, tzedakah teromem goy. Charity will uplift the nation. Bore kama gadol kocha shel tzedakah shenitona b'yimono shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu. As it says, tzedek malai minechad. Hashem is makpid to give it with his right hand. The tzedakah. That's how important tzedakah is. Similar how he gave the Torah with the right hand, right? And in the Jewish people, how many times the money goes around in the community? And it doesn't you don't just spend the money and we don't ever see it again. We reinvest in our community. How Jews are obligated according to Halakha to hire other Jews, and we invest in our organizations, in our shuls, in our community centers, and how great this is that it lifts the whole nation. It doesn't just help ourselves; it uplifts the whole nation. As it says, "Gdolat tzedakah sheba nishtabach HaKadosh Baruch Hu b'shah she'yavih teshuah Yisrael." HaKadosh Baruch Hu is praised with this that He gives tzedakah. Ani medaber b'tzedakah rav le'oshia. The pasuk in Yeshaya says, "I speak with tzedakah, abundantly able to save." We know that Hashem does tzedakah with all of us, and that's how He's going to redeem us. And we have to redeem ourselves. How do we redeem ourselves from exile? Through tzedakah, as the Rambam writes quotes the pasuk in Mishlei, which says, with Yeshaya, Tzion b'mishpat tipadeh v'shavia b'tzedakah. How will we redeem? Zion will be redeemed through justice, and those who return to it through tzedakah. And the Rambam says, we learn from here that the Jewish people only be redeemed b'zchut the tzedakah. So we have to make sure that we're giving tzedakah properly, and that will bring the whole nation out of exile. And we know that it says in the pasuk, "V'yi David oseh mishpat u'tzedakah lechol amo." David used to do justice and tzedakah. So you see how important it is to be proper, be justice, but also to give tzedakah. at the same time to be merciful. The Gemara says in the Beit HaMikdash time, they got the Beit HaMikdash destroyed, right? The Masechet Bava Metzia says everybody used to do din with each other. Everybody used to say, I'm going to sue you, it's my right, it's my obligation, I deserve it, I'm not going to go and share with you. Why? It's no. They used to take each other to court for every single little thing. But when a person has justice, that's true, but at the same time he also has tzedakah, so then Hashem will have tzedakah with us. The way we treat others is Hashem will be giving to us. If we give to others, Hashem will give to us. As it says, Sheba Atid HaKadosh Baruch Hu L'Shtabech B'Yom Adin, V'Yikba Hashem Tzavukot Mishpat V'Kadosh Nikdash B'Tzedakah. It says at the end of days, the greatest tzedakah through which Hashem is destined to be praised on the day of judgment. And says Hashem will be exalted in justice, and Hashem sanctified tzedakah. Greatest tzedakah that you send your money to Olam Haba. Your money stays here, but if you give tzedakah, you take your money to Olam Haba. It waits for you over there. Also, a person has to be generous for mitzvot. He has to be not willing to be cheap for mitzvot. How we know the Gemara says that you have to pay up to a third for more than the regular price. But a person has to be willing to even pay up a third for hidur mitzvah. Look at Gamliel. Gamliel, the Gemara says, Kana etrog be'elef zuz. He was willing to buy a etrog for 1,000 zuz. So therefore, you should know that the hidur mitzvah is to beautify the mitzvah. But what if let's say all the etrogim are scarce, right? So they're all it's $1,000 each etrog. But if they're $100 etrogim and then there's hidur, there's more, to make buy a more beautiful one. Okay, so you go up a little bit, go a third up to buy more beautiful. But what if all the standard ones are $1,000 because there's not so many of them? So you have to be willing to spend even for that, right? Today, no school tuition is going to be cheap. All of them more or less are expensive. Person has to be willing to pay that. Why? Because I'm not scared that I'm wasting money. I'm generous for the mitzvah. I realize that the mitzvah is gonna help me, and Hashem's gonna pay me back. Right? It's one of the things that the Kriya and Rosh Hashanah doesn't even include. This you spend tuition on your kids. That's from Hashem's bill. It's not from your bill. As it says, Ohon va'osher bebeitov tzedakah omed elad. Wealth and riches are in his house. His charity endures forever. And he says a person has to be willing to lend. A person has to be willing to give out, lend his stuff to borrow to other people, to do chesed with his items. And if a person is measuring out or giving things to people, he should do it with a ayin yafa, not to be over exact, right? When a person, can I get 1 cup? So how does he do? He takes out a measuring cup, he pours him exactly 1 cup here, 1 cup. No, give ayin yafa, let the person feel you care about him, you give him a little bit extra. The person must be generous and to understand the burden of the other person. The person has to be generous with Torah wisdom. He has to share, give chizuk. You heard Dvar Torah, you shouldn't share, you should keep it to yourself, share it with other people. You see somebody down, give him a good word, give him a smile, what's going on with you, you need some advice. Person has to not spend vast sums for fashionably costly garments, and then must not dissipate his wealth in assortment activities that do not lead to a fear of Hashem. Rather, he should be generous for wisdom and look to always acquire wisdom and invest as much as he can to get more wisdom. And he says the Imre Emet, Rabbi Agur, the story, discovered that one of his Hasidim lost his tefillin. So the Rebbe gave the man the pair that he inherited from his father, the Sfat Emet. He gave him his father's tefillin. So the Rebbe was questioned, Rabbi, how can you give him such a precious, valuable tefillin inheritance? You give it away? He says, what do you mean? The Rambam says when you feed the hungry, you got to give the best and the sweetest. When you clothe the naked, you give them the nicest clothing. Because the Torah says that all this belongs to Hashem. So therefore, I want to do the mitzvah. I have opportunity now to do mitzvah. What should I do? I should buy him a cheap pair of tefillin from the store. I have the ability to do the mitzvah. I want to do the mitzvah the best way possible. So whatever I would give to myself, why not? I'll give it to him. And he wasn't scared for 1 second, not nervous 1 second to part with it. Why? Because that's how much he was looking for tzedakah. Baruch